A North Carolina nurse anesthetist now and practitioner is accused of sexually assaulting at least one woman while she was under anesthesia. So now a lawsuit is pending, and attorneys plan to file a civil lawsuit against Paul Pellini, who's now charged with forcible rape for a February incident. But officials believe more charges could be filed with more victims coming forward. Chief Legal Analyst Clay Rhodes joining us here. First, let's talk about this. I just said that he's an anesthetist, not an anesthesiologist. Let's make the clear distinction between these two.
CRNA, certified registered nurse anesthetist. Those are folks that are not anesthesiologists. The major difference is one's an MD, one is a nurse. They do have a specialized training, but the biggest part, and this is at the crux of the case, that the biggest part is in most states, and I emphasize in most states, that nurse is supposed to be supervised by a doctor, either by the anesthesiologist or by the supervising surgeon. And in this situation, we don't know if that occurred, but I would guarantee that's going to be at the root of the case. I listened to what his attorney, the victim's attorney said, and is that they said a number of times this individual should have been supervised. This individual should have been supervised, which leads them to believe that they are under the impression that he was not supervised at the time that this was happening, because the statute in our state requires that there's an opportunity for a state to opt out. Because if you look at the ruling, the Medicare and Medicaid Services Act requires that you have this person in place, but it gives the governor of that state an opportunity to opt out, and 22 states have opted out. North Carolina and South Carolina are not two of those states, and so because of that, in this situation, if this is North Carolina, which it is, they needed a doctor in the room at the time.
And I can imagine somebody at home right now watching this and remembering the picture of that person, thinking, wow, could this happen to me? I mean, this is a crime that involves victims who are totally defenseless, unaware of what's happening. What's your thoughts about this case? I
mean, first of all, it's extremely sick, disturbing. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind. But I echo to your point. You said exactly what the attorney said, is that probably there will be more individuals that come forward. When you look at these type of instances in the past, if you're looking at the thing with USA Gymnastics, a lot of the gymnasts that were in that situation didn't even recognize they were victims until other folks came forward and said, well, hey, that type of touching that was happening to you was also happening to me. In this situation, these individuals were asleep. They were medically placed in a position where they don't understand what was happening. And so you see this person's picture and you're saying, hey, maybe that did happen to me. And so how they found this individuals, they found photos, they found videos. The one victim was not aware that it happened, but she was able to identify herself by tattoos of herself in the video. And so those are the types of things, as you're walking backwards, as you're piecing it together, as you're saying, okay, what happened? How did we get here? You're looking at all the evidence that's probably on this individual's phone, and you're trying to figure out, well, A, who was in the room? And as they're notifying the people that, okay, is this you? Could you have potentially been there? They're probably looking at the dates and the times of the videos when people were registered to be there as well. And as you cross-link and cross-reference that information, you get an opportunity to see, do we have more potential victims? Because you have two cases, a criminal and a civil, I can guarantee there will be more victims that come out of this.
All right, you've laid out the proof, and it sounds like there was a lot of proof. Can the man's company who he worked for be liable for this?
I mean, if I'm suing, I always mention you want to sue everyone. So you'll sue this person on his individual status. You sue the doctor for failing to be in the room, and then you sue the company, whatever company they're working for failure to supervise and failure to educate. And so there will be a number of complaints and lawsuits and a lot of different allegations listed in there. But yes, if you're asking who to sue, you sue them all and let the court remove anybody that has nothing to do with it. But you can see if there was no one else in the room, a failure to supervise is going to be the first thing that I'm pointing to.
All right. And you are a defense attorney. Thank you so much, Clay Rhodes. Appreciate your insight.